So here we go, looking at my. We're gonna go sideways, isn't that fun? We're gonna look at this cool rock because I sprayed it with my shellac, and it's like polishing the whole thing to a mirror finish. But I get to look at the original surface. Pretty cool. So, sedimentary rock, right? And there it is. It's AuPt because it starts out like this. And then turn off this light behind me. And well, Shazam, huh? Now this is shellac. It's not the same as a clear coat lacquer, right? Those are petroleum based. This is not. This is cellulose from the inside of plant stems, and lignin, the stuff that makes wood hard. Okay? Oh, this stuff keeps all the cells in there together and in a rigid surface because it creates bonds between the little wiggly carbon things, right? And instead of in rings, they're in little lines. They're called terpenes. Terpenes are a broad class of organic compounds found in plants. Rubber is one of them. Pine sap, pine stuff, and all that funny cannabis that smells like bubble gum and stuff like that. And the thing is, we can make it taste like anything. Because those terpenes can be tuned to our palate, to what tastes good to us. And so we can make food that tastes good and looks exactly like what we cook when we go to the store and buy things. but we'll never run out because it's 2 annual plants, and they have all of the nutrients that we need to be healthy, including and especially those neurotransmitters that keep us alive. Okay? In the way our body works, those are called alkaloids, and they utilize the alkali metals, so very simple metals, in our blood to create a standing magnetic field. So I've got a magnet, and I can figure out AuPt by its magnetic fields and strengths and stuff, and see how they're all like kind of lined up, huh? I mean, those are little checkerboards, and it's not accidental at all because it's AuPt. And that's what you see is gold and gold platinum alloy. One end or the other, and the stuff in the middle. And it's all the same stuff. All the same stuff. It's coming out as that mix cooled down. And the first thing that comes out is, after the carbon, is the platinum. The white stuff is platinum. The gold stuff is gold. And the other stuff is a mixture thereof. And it is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful. It is really, really hard. And you can put a beautiful polish on it. It's a metal. This is a solid metal. The whole thing is a single crystal of AuPt. And then I'm going to turn you back upright. And it is ubiquitous. This is what the mountains I live in are made out of. Okay, so they're not special at all. It's like the country rock. That's the most common of common. And it's 100% AuPt, gold platinum alloy. And if you're wondering, there's no shortage of it at all. We can build railroad cars and railroad tracks and spaceships and all kinds of stuff with this metal, because we don't have to use a whole bunch of money and infrastructure to obtain useful amounts of metal. Anybody can go out and obtain useful amounts of metal. And I mean useful. You can get them by the railroad car if you so desire, on an ongoing basis, as fast as you can fill them up. And you'll never run out. Never. Ever. Not even close, man. You couldn't even put a little tiny drop in the bucket. Because pretty much the entire planet is AuPt in one way or another. This is a sedimentary rock, right? So gathered in ocean beds, um, and it got covered over with layer after layer after layer of volcanic ash. This was at the very bottom and it's, it got turned into dust, and then it got squished. And these come out of fault lines. So this is kind of the one wall of the fault line. And it is pretty much all solid AuPt, even though it's a conglomerate of dust that got squeezed together because it came from this. This had to wear down before this happened. And it does so in places like the Colorado River, or up where I used to live, the Stanislaus or Tuolumne rivers. And those little happy streams are the carriers of the energy that turns mountains into sedimentary rock. And they do it on an ongoing basis, right? This is not like something that happened a long time ago and stopped happening now. It is an ongoing thing because we live on a living planet, and by that I mean geologically living planet. The fault lines and rivers and creeks and dry washes are fault lines, okay? Not follow fault lines, they are fault lines, okay? And all secondary mineralization requires a fault line. So that's the best place to start. And they are the low spots on the ground. You know what rivers, creeks look like, and you know what you gotta find them. Everybody does. And the rocks in those creeks and rivers, dry washes, they're all AuPt in one way or another. Or this may be carbon here, or silicon carbide. It's very hard, 10 on the Mohs scale of hardness. So I'm going to assume it's silicon carbide. But I don't know. We will find out. We can do that. We don't have to guess. these rocks have known properties. And I can measure those properties against what we know, and it tells me what I'm looking at. I use the specific gravity test. That's a weight to volume ratio. Okay, how do you measure the volume of something like that, huh? Pretty good trick. So what we do is we tie a string to it, or glue a string to it, in my case, like a fishing line, little thin fishing line, and you glue it to a high point on the stone, and you have a container of water on your scale that's big enough to allow you to submerge this stone in the water and not spill it. Okay, so we're gonna start with a bowl of water, pretty good size to measure something like this, and I dunk it in, but I don't touch anything else. I don't touch the sides, I don't touch the bottom, and I don't touch the top. I submerge it, and there's, my little fishing line holding it in place. And what that does is, as this goes into the water, it's displacing water. And it displaces it to the exact volume of its own volume. And I get all the little bumps and crevices and all of that stuff. And if there's gaps in there, the water will actually go inside and become part of the measurement, as it should be. And so what I do with my spray stuff is, now I can look inside a dirty rock, right? This was a rock that is not polished. I didn't put a lot of elbow grease on it to make it so I can see inside of it. But look at this. I can see like the chatoyancy in these cells of the crystal. And that chatoyancy moves across the whole stone. It looks really sparkly there. That's because these things are really, they come out of the ground. You can't scratch them, right? They're very, very, very hard. And so when you find something that doesn't scratch, you've got something that's either a diamond or a ruby. And these are as hard as a ruby. 9 on the Mohs scale of hardness. Sometimes 10. This right in here, this clear stuff that my friend Pendy swore to me is a piece of quartz, is in fact not quartz at all, because it has a measured hardness of 10 on the Mohs scale of hardness. That means I can take a ruby and I can't make a scratch on this. It won't scratch this at all. Now I can scratch any other rock in the entire world other than a diamond with a ruby. Okay? Ruby is 9 on the Mohs scale of hardness, and it is really, really hard because Al shares the aluminum shares 2 aluminums with 3 oxygens, and it creates a triple bond that's like no other in all the world. The next closest thing is diamond, which has double covalent bonds, and AuPt also has double covalent bonds. And I don't think that. I know that because it always forms in a cubic structure. There's always little cubes, and they've always got hoppers. They've got a dished out place, and it's everywhere, right? This is a single crystal of AuPt. Okay, see how it all shines together when I rock it around? Man, you thought I was tripping, and I'm not tripping here, you guys. That is a piece of metal. And all the atoms are lined up in perfect little rows and columns. And we can address those like a memory, like the memory in a computer. And that is how they make rocks, make faces and stuff. And the rocks, the rocks seem to enjoy it. Mine are always happy looking. Always happy looking. Look at that, watch. It's like a flame. And this dished out shape here, and this part, it's part of the crystal structure. It does that all the time. And this beautiful formation here is something you can count on. And what you'll find is that when you find it the right way and find the faces, when you find the faces, then hold still and try to open your mind to the guy on the other side, because there's a guy there. There's somebody there. Hey, man. Peace, dude. And he's not going to say anything, okay? He's not going to say, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm your only hope. He's not going to say that. Okay? Because it's in your mind. You have to open your mind to him as he opens your mind to him. And that is part of the problem, isn't it? Because benevolent government doesn't have an off switch. They're rapacious. Need for resources is beyond anything else. And it doesn't have to be that way. See, this is solid metal. This could be melted at 1768 degrees. We could grind it up, and it looks like it's like concrete, because that's what it is. And the concrete around here, around Phoenix, is interesting. Where my wife grew up, in Maryvale, they have homes that are all made out of slump block concrete. Out here in the middle of the desert, and it's kind of a good idea, you know. They're well insulated, and so you can build a home, and that concrete keeps it fairly cool inside. And they came, this was in the 50s, 1950s, when my wife moved here. And they came with a swamp cooler that used water to cool the air down. And my mother-in-law's house, to this day, still uses that cooling system. But the slump block house came from granite quarried out of the Gila River. Okay, and I love the Gila River, man. I've been perpetrating a love affair with the Gila River for 35 years. Where they take the concrete out, the rocks out for the concrete, there's a plant down there, and people, drive their cement trucks up there and line up, and all the construction guys come get